Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper, and today I'll be reviewing Pikmin 1, which was released back on the 26th of October 2001, and it was released for the Nintendo Wii, GameCube, and then got a re-release for the Nintendo Switch, which was released about a, a week and a half ago as of recording this. And the main plot of this game is that the main captain, or the main character, Captain Olimar, has crashed down on this sort of alien, otherworldly planet, and it's up to him, as well as his fellow Pikmin that he finds throughout the game, to try and find all 30 pieces of his missing ship and go home. And that's basically the whole plot of this game. And yeah, this is probably the most weird story slash game that I've seen. And I mean that in a good way, because a lot of the games that I've played as well as reviewed for this channel is that were all very normal in terms of like they were fun and they were kind of out there, but they to me they all felt normal. Like with Mario, it's like he's beating up Bowser. With Link, he's beating up Ganondorf and getting medieval type weapons, that kind of thing. But for Pikmin, it's weird in a fun, weird way, and I think one of the reasons for that is the Pikmin themselves, because they're basically design wise they're basically these small plant characters, and there you find and in Pikmin 1 there are three different variants of three different colors: the red one, the yellow one, and the blue one. And all three Pikmin all have their own unique abilities. So the fire one well, the red one is I would say the normal one, or the first one that you find, and it doesn't really have any unique abilities compared to the others. The only thing it does have is like its fire resistance. So I think on one of the in one of the areas, you can find enemies that spew out fire, or find areas that do shoot out fire. And the red Pikmin are good in those kinds of areas. The yellow Pikmin are you can throw them further, and as well as carry these small rock bombs that you can use on various blockades on various parts of the different areas that you come across. And then there's the blue Pikmin, in which they are able to go across water because they have gills and stuff. And yeah, these are very unique and interesting powers to have, because they're all very good in their own unique ways. And yeah, and I think the whole 30-day uh, limit is interesting. However, for me personally, it does feel restrictive in a way, because it's kind of like Majora's Mask in a way, in a sense that with Majora's Mask, you have 3 days instead of 30, and in Majora's Mask, you can go back to the start of the first day again and again and again as many times as you want. Pikmin 1, there are elements of going back to previous days, because on the home screen, before you pick a file, you can choose which or how many days backwards you want to go to do certain stuff. So yeah, there is that. I do like that bit, but as a whole, the game in terms of the whole 3 days, it does feel a bit restrictive, because for me, I don't like being rushed when it comes to games. When it comes to like, oh, you have a certain amount of days or in-game days to beat the game, or you have to try and get from one location to another, and you're under a time limit and you can't fast travel, that kind of thing. So I'm not a big fan of the whole 30-day time limit thing, but I do think in terms of the plot of the game, it's a nice feature to have, and it keeps you on your toes and saying, okay, I can collect these amount of parts now, but that means I have to come back to the same area to collect the remaining few parts, or something like that. And now it's time for some gameplay. So when you boot up the save files, you can see, depending on which save file you're going to be, or depending on how many save files you've got, you'll see how many days you have when looking at the main thing. And then if you look at the bottom of the screen here, you can see the amount of ship parts you have, the amount of Pikmin you have for each color, and also you can go back how many of the days, and those save files, although the progress you have, will show you how many ship parts you had at that particular day, and how many Pikmin you had at a particular day. So let's go into day 20. Why not? And you can see that there are different areas in the game. So there are about 4 areas, and they show you how many ship parts are in the level, which can be shown by the stars here. And then so for the impact site, which is your starting off place, there are 2 ship parts. Then in this one there are about 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, about 9 ship parts. And then there's a lot of them here, and a lot of them here. And so let's go into this one, because this has the least amount of parts that I have recovered. And yeah, this is one of those interesting games that it's very peaceful. It's like one of those peaceful games that you can just pick up and just have fun in. So yeah, and when you go into a level, you have to think of how many Pikmin you want and how you can use the Pikmin. And also, no, that's the wrong map. That's not that. That's the wrong button. I meant. So if you press the plus button, that'll show you the map, and you can see like where the different parts are, and you can only find those parts if you have the radar. And you can see okay, there's the most amount of parts are on here, so like there's 2, 4, 5, 7. So there's 7 parts in here, so around here, and then there's 1 part over here. And this probably needs the help of the blue Pikmin. So let's take out 20. So you can take out a certain amount of Pikmin, and you can find that you can get Pikmin out the ground. So let's say, okay, so let's use these enemies as an example. So if you throw the Pikmin at enemies, they'll just kind of attack them, and then you'll find that each of them will carry a particular one back to the ship. So let's just that one. Okay, so that won't pick it up. So with particular enemies, or with enemies as a whole, depending on which Pikmin is carrying a particular enemy, more Pikmin will be sprouted, I guess, and you can either wait until they've sprouted. So like now I can just pull them out of the ground, or I can wait for them to have fully grown bulbs like they have now. And let's go straight towards the plant, not the plant, the part that's over here, the ship part. Yeah, so hopefully I don't need too many Pikmin. Hang on, I've got enemies. So yeah, and that's another thing you have to worry about. The different enemies that there are in this, there are in each of the levels, because each of the enemies have like different abilities. So you've got one that can jump, one that can, I think, spray out fire, that kind of thing. And you really have to think, okay, how do I use the Pikmin to try and buy advantage? Am I closer to the? I'm going the completely wrong direction. To the ship part. Oh, it's that. Okay. So, okay, that works. And yeah, and you really think about, okay, how do I handle my Pikmin? How do I use them to my advantage? How do I... Oh my god, there's a lot of enemies. I severely underestimated these. Oh no, I'm losing a lot of Pikmin. I've only got 14 Pikmin. Well, I mean... okay. So it's just... Think of how you can... use your Pikmin to your advantage. Okay, so that's all the water enemies done. Only lost 7 Pikmin. So yeah, you really have to think. So yeah, some enemies have more health than others, and I've got to say this enemy, for being in the air, it's kind of easy to take down. So yeah, and hopefully I can get the ship part. So let's ship part. So yeah, and also there's another thing. You'll probably find several ship parts just randomly in the wild. You just find them randomly, and other times they'll be enemies. That'll just hold on to different ship parts. Which I think is quite nice. And well, this has a ship part, right? Ship part. Aha, ship part. So if you go closer enough to it, I found my interstellar radio. Not only does it emit a constant SOS signal, it also broadcasts the voices from space that will brighten my moment of boredom. So yeah, it will tell you, okay, a little thing about the ship part, and that's quite cool. And it'll also tell you how many Pikmin it needs. So for this, I need 20 Pikmin. So I just need 9 more Pikmin. And that's another thing, you have to use different Pikmin as I did before in different situations. So blue Pikmin are good in water areas, which you can see now. And I've got to say, Olimar, as a whole, he does move a bit slowly. Oh, hang on. Oh, I can use these Pikmin. Now that they have kind of blossomed, I can use these ones, so that will be 8. Yeah, 8 Pikmin. Just need 1 more Pikmin for the ship part. Hopefully I can get to it before any of... Ooh! No, my Pikmin! Right, yeah, it's in this direction. So, let's call this one... Oh, and there's also another thing, you can call your Pikmin with the B button, so you can call your Pikmin, so let's call these Pikmin. Yep. And then if you press the X button, they will go into a group, and they won't command. You won't be able to command until you press B again, and then you can just make them do a particular job. So let's have them carry this ship part. And I don't know if you can see, but at the top of the screen here, you can see a sun on a line, and that tells you how much time you have until sunset. So it will say, it'll count down until nighttime, and yeah, that's something quite interesting. And yeah, and also for the ship part, depending on which one you have to really look out for the enemies. So, you know what, I'm just going to try and get rid of this particular enemy. So, wait for him to attack. Just use it. Then call my Pikmin. Attack again. You know, I'm going to... hang on. Oh, it's okay. Oh, I just lost a bunch of my Pikmin, didn't I? Haven't I? Oh, no. Okay. Then, okay. It's nearly defeated. So yeah, I'm gonna cut here, and I'm gonna show you what happens when a ship part is put into the dolphin. And also, want to quickly talk about something. If you're fighting enemies, they will attack your Pikmin, and depending on how many Pikmin have been defeated, you can't get them back. And yeah, and now I'm going to show you how, and this is going to be showing how the ship part is extracted. So that's kind of how a ship part is extracted, and you can see our daily SOS. I have little time remaining though that I have no option but to continue my search rather than waiting for a rescue party having to collect every part. It's been okay, so it will tell you how each ship parts will tell you, oh, do I have enough space parts to get back home, that kind of thing. And it'll tell you how many parts you've collected and how many parts you need to recover. And I don't know if you can see it, but the SOS radar, it can be seen there. And I do like how, and also time's almost done. And I do like how it's just, I do like how it's more of your ship is upgraded and more ship parts are found, the more better it looks. And also, if I go to sunset, go to sunset. Olimar will command the Pikmin to basically go back to the ship. Depending on how many Pikmin you have, all of them will go back into whichever coloured ship they belong to, and then Olimar will go back into his own ship. And depending on how many Pikmin you've accidentally left behind, they will get eaten by the enemies in the game. And you will also see a bit of a small interaction, not interaction, a small thing about what you've learned, about which planets or which area you've been to, about some of the enemies you find in the game. And I do like how you get a tally saying, okay, I've got this many Pokemon, this many Pikmin sprouted, they're lost in battle, and you might have accidentally left behind, as well as the remaining ship parts, how many days you have, and how many ship parts you've already collected. And I do like the graph as well. I think that's quite nice. So that's been it for the gameplay. Now it's time to go back to the review. So overall, for Pikmin 1, I actually really enjoyed this because this game is very different to a lot of the other games that I've played throughout the years, because when it comes to something like the combat when it comes to like fighting enemies is very different to something like, let's say, The Legend of Zelda, when that game, or in those series of games, it's basically kind of like a hack and slash type of thing where you've got a sword, you've got a shield, you can use it to defeat enemies, that kind of thing. But with Pikmin 1, you basically throw your Pikmin at the different enemies, and that's very, very interesting and very different to a lot of the other games that I've played. And I do like how in this game you have to prioritize your Pikmin, because you can only take out 100 Pikmin to follow you, and you can hold up to, like, I would say roughly 999 for each Pikmin, I would say. I think that's the limit for each Pikmin, and I do like how you have to prioritize the Pikmin in terms of, oh, okay, I have to use this amount of Pikmin to collect one ship part, but I have to use another amount of Pikmin for another ship part, and hopefully they can bring all the ship parts that I've managed to collect to the ship, to, I think it's called, it's not the Onion, the Dolphin, yes, to the Dolphin. And I do like how when it comes to each ship part, you will be given some kind of info about it. So for the radar, you're told, oh, this is the radar it can be shown where the different parts are, and for some of the other parts, like, oh, this was given to me by a family member, or this will help me probably get into space or something like that, and that's very interesting. I do like the little info cards you get, and overall, I do enjoy Pikmin One. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's very cool. Like, I'm quite excited to play, the other Pikmin games. I think and see how those games play and how those games fare out. So, yeah. So that's been my review for Pikmin One. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.